sale's not that bad. It's
All views expressed by the hosts and guests in this podcast are solely their opinions and do not reflect the opinions of their respective employers. Guests and hosts may maintain positions in the assets discussed in this podcast. This podcast is for informational purposes only, and nothing in the podcast is intended to be financial, legal, or even life advice.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to More Than Speculation, the crypto podcast where we chat with builders, operators, and investors about everything that's interesting that's happening in the space. In today's episode, we have an amazing guest. We have Dorothy from AltLayer. So I guess for a quick start, why don't you say hi, Dorothy, for some of our listeners that might not know about you guys, and then we can just jump straight in.
Okay, hi guys, I'm Dorothy. I'm with AltLayer. We're kind of an infra company. Our mission was to help projects to scale. We started about 3 years ago. It's been dark years, but luckily, I think our vision for the industry kind of worked out. We envision a world with over 1,000 rollups, and this is happening now. We are dedicated to help projects to build their own dedicated app rollup, and we help them to build AVSs, and we also have our proprietary service called Restaking rollup. We can dive into it a bit later.
Nice. All right, let's warm things up. I'm going to do 5 rapid fire questions. All right, so Marco, we're going to shoot the first one.
So we have this rapid fire question just to start the pot. That's our style. The first one is, who is your favorite crypto founder other than AltLayer's founder?
AltLayer founder is not my favorite crypto founder. I have different tiers of my favorite founder. My favorite founder is, of course, Vitalik. I mean, I'm
when he's dating or not?
He's dating someone not in the news. Like I think people are getting it wrong. He's dating someone, but it's a serious person, not like a random girl or a random pop star. But anyways, that's his.
There's a lot of tea in this podcast. That's why you guys tune in. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to speak for him because I don't know all the details. I heard stuff, but I don't think people should laugh at him for his personal life. He's like a normal guy. He has his personal life.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say he has his needs. All right, cool. All right, rapid question. Favorite meme coin.
Okay, I'm torn. Okay, my favorite meme coin that I made most money off. Let me check my wallet.
No. Quick.
No. Just give me a second because it's and sometimes they're kind of
the motto of story.
Okay, well, Wave is making me more money at this point.
All right.
And my another favorite is Bitcoin.
Nice.
Just putting it up. They're our clients.
It's the OG meme coin. Yeah.
What is your unconventional view on crypto lately?
I mean, I wouldn't call it unconventional. I definitely see not much innovation in the space. So as a crypto OG, I guess, being in the space for over 8 years, I'm definitely disappointed.
Okay, if you have $10 right now and you have to allocate, how would you split them among ETH and Solana?
5-5. Okay, maybe.
What?
Wait, which one is 2? Yeah.
Beat. All right, cool. All right, let's get into it. All right, let's go, Marco.
All right. No, I mean,
you don't have follow-on questions. You don't want to know why?
Sure, please.
If you're willing.
Yeah.
The frank answer is Solana made me more money this cycle. So.
Hey, we love
I
how
so.
we love how this podcast is starting already.
Yeah.
a lot of pragmatism here. It's just like
I love it.
it's
This is
making
how
me
we like this.
more money right now.
Okay.
No, but yeah, let's bust right into it. I mean, Dorothy, I think you did a quick intro about AltLayer, but I think we would want to start by just simply educating from a high level to our audience who might not be aware of exactly what AltLayer is and what kind of products that you guys have. So if you can give like a quick overview of like what are you guys doing and why should our listeners care, I think that would be a great starting point.
Yeah, in this market, I think there are a few categories of products. There's the layer ones, basically Ethereum, Solana, that people use on a daily basis, and they already have their empire, and it's kind of a known beta that there's hard to pursue any alpha out of it. And then there's a second category where there's the meme coins and there's a lot of the speculative assets where people are trading for short-term pump and dump or I guess like opportunities to make a quick buck, but
Hmm.
probably unsustainable. And then I think the third category is where AltLayer falls in. We're not a sexy layer one product. We're not meme coin or speculative asset. We're more long-term builders who are contributing in our own way to the ecosystem or the infrastructure of this industry. And our main product is a rollup as a service, which is to help projects to build their own app chain using rollup technology and DA solutions, etc. Our second product is AVS as a service, which is to help projects to build their own AVS system. And our third product is kind of a mix. It's called Restate Rollup, which is a combination of AVS and a decentralized network of sequencers and validators for rollups. So that's kind of our unique proposition, and we own the tech. No one in the market could
Hmm.
replicate what we do, and we'll keep innovating. I think like the keyword here is innovation. The tough question is how does all these innovation and hard work translate into token price? But that's beside the point here.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for the great summary. Before I go on the next question, how do I make money from this?
So I think you can see art token in a few ways. The first way is to see it as a restaking beta or a
Hmm.
restaking alpha, whichever way you see it, because we're definitely listing on some of the major sexes around the world. So you have a lot of liquidity, and if you believe in the restaking future, you believe in EigenLayer, Babylon, or all the other new restaking projects that are coming on. We're working with all of them, and it's kind of like a beta play where you can capture the value of this whole category. And the second way to view this art token is you can kind of see it as, I guess, a beta play of Ethereum ecosystem or infra or modularity. Those are a lot of narratives that
Right.
people came up with this cycle that are kind of still trending. I mean, modularity is less relevant nowadays, but still, I think it's a main theme for Ethereum and a lot of different layer ones this cycle. So it'll keep growing. And then the third way to view our token, I think, is if you believe in our team and our abilities to innovate, we'll keep coming up with new products and new technologies. We have core capabilities that would allow us to survive this industry long term. So I think that's the alpha bit if you believe in the team and believe in what we're doing.
Got it. Got it. So I think you're super on point when you classify crypto projects into the three different buckets that you've explained just now. I think the retail speculators, I guess, for the lack of a better term, they're a lot more smarter this cycle around. So I wanted to follow up by asking with the products that you've described, like do you guys as a protocol make money in a sense? Like, are you competing with the like of conduits, with like a SaaS like business model, or is there anything that you can share with the audience so that they're more educated about how the protocol function and like how should they look at the token itself when it comes down to like the business model of the protocol itself?
I think there are two main parts of the business. The first part is, of course, the service side where we offer rollup as a service and AVS as a service to our partners. And in return, we charge them monthly fees and we
Got it.
charge them some of the other incentives. And then the second part is we have the staking of Alt token that will allow you to earn Alt token in rewards. And on top of it, we also ask our partner projects to offer airdrop or token rewards for our stakers. So when we look at token airdrops, we do put our stakers in front of the project. We would prefer to get all the airdrop tokens allocated to all the stakers, but of course, it's not entirely up to us. We don't make the decision. Our partner projects get the say. So a lot of time we don't have maximal control, but we're trying our best to pay off our stakers.
Yeah, okay. Nice. I love that you're very practical. Obviously, we've been friends. I know that you're very practical as well. How was the experience in trying to educate or how to market a infra project to retail? As you know, it is very different from other categories.
Yeah, a little bit background about myself. I was working at synthetics before AltLayer.
Right.
That's kind of the reason why I started AltLayer was working at synthetics. It was 2020, 2019, 2020 time. People didn't know about layer 2. People didn't understand rollups. But synthetics was the only client of Optimism at the time, and we were going through
Right,
a
I
lot of
remember that.
changes. We were trying to launch our new products with Optimism, which wasn't live yet. So a lot of my job was to educate the market about what is a rollup and what is a layer 2. And I got intrigued by it because at that time, Ethereum gas fees were like off the roof. I know you guys must remember Curve.
Yeah.
The swap fees and the gas fees on Curve was like ridiculous. So I was like, okay, layer 2 seems very interesting. Rollup seems very interesting. Maybe we should start a project around it. That's how AltLayer actually started, kind of in that historic background. So when I was doing a lot of education work, I realized it's almost impossible to get to understand what technology really means. Like, can you? Okay, one question back to you guys: what does Fire Dancer do?
Hey, I can actually go in depth in this, but I've been asking a lot of my community TLDR, faster, bullish, long, let's go. And
Yeah, like
and
yeah,
as a
If I'm
marketer,
if I'm gonna be quoting Mert, it's just that they're building the new internet. That's what he's been saying, right?
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So it's very hard to explain what Fire Dancer actually do, but you can easily tell people with a narrative or with some catchphrases to make it easier to understand. So I realize it's important to help retail to understand what it roughly does. They don't need to go into the details, but I do have a good analogy for rollups
Oh,
or
please.
layer twos at the time in 2020 when I was educating in the market what is a layer two. I said it's like a city. The main roads are congested, and then you build the overwalk.
yes.
That's where the traffic could go if you prefer.
To write on
So
this, yeah. Remember, like back in Solana when it first came out, no one understood what is POH and all those stuff. But everyone remember faster,
Right.
quicker, ETH killers. I actually was interested in AltLayer because I thought the narrative or the quoting marketing slang of roll up as a service really caught my idea of it. Obviously, it's not the most retail term, but anyone that has dealt with a little bit of crypto would get it straight away. So that's why I wanted to ask you this question. But yeah, sorry, Marco, you were saying?
Like I was just gonna say, I want to take a step back. It's very interesting when you said that you guys were very early with the whole L2 stuff. Like, what makes you decided, or like, why didn't you start your own L2 back then?
So, so first of all, we're not really an L2 project.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're more like rollup as a
Oh,
service.
no, no, yeah. I mean, I'm very aware of that. Like, I was just saying, like, when you because you were early towards like the whole
Yeah.
You could have
L2
went for the
scenes,
route.
like, yeah.
Actually, at that time, there were not many companies attempting at this scaling problem, even though it emerged as a very good opportunity. We
Hmm.
had we had Optimism, Arbitrum, DK Sync, Starkware. We have four companies doing roll-up stuff.
Right.
Um, like Tycho, Scroll, all started later, and some of the um, SVM projects or other VM projects started even later. So
Hmm.
at the particular moment when we look at the market segments, we realize it's kind of vacant. Like no one was doing anything in the roll-up space besides the big four.
Got it. And I think you're also on point that the landscape has changed so much. There were only those four projects at the early days, but now there are probably 40, 50 L2s or even more. I want to get your take on the whole matter, especially around the recent debate between, and Anatoly had a debate with like Sriram, a whole like monolithic blah blah. Like what's your, I guess, like personal view on the whole thing right now, given that you said that you're also like a very pragmatic person, you're gonna put eight to Sol into the ETH. So I think you have a very good understanding of both sides.
No,
Like
I
you're
feel ashamed.
no, but like seriously though, like this is I think it's super interesting because you have a solid understanding of both sides of the aisle, and also like you used to be at synthetic, so you understand the importance of like speed for like applications, like all of that. We're just curious on your take on this. Like I know it's a very huge question, but yeah.
I think like every person has their own background and their own perspective. So the all the different moments in your life build up to what you are today. So for Anatoly, he had his background in mobile telecommunication, Qualcomm. So it's natural for him that he wanted to do something more commercial facing, more mass market, and I would say it's just more commercial.
Hmm.
Whereas Vitalik came from, I guess, more um, more
Vitalik
computer
background.
science background. Actually, I don't
Yeah.
know his background before it's Ethereum too much because he's kind of a genius. He just invented
Yeah.
Vitalik when sorry, he invented Ethereum when he was like 15 or something. So but I do think he's very idealistic, and it's Ethereum almost feels very tribal to me. It's a lot of people with common beliefs or their own beliefs, but they all unite as a bigger belief, which is to kind of make this world a better place, which is not exactly what Solana is doing. So I do think all these different disputes or arguments come down to different roots and different beliefs they have in their lives. I don't see I don't see differences in technology or their architecture design matters. Like everyday users shouldn't care about how the protocol runs in the background. They should care about what kind of user experience they get and what kind of values or what kind of emotional bonds they get from the products they use. And I think Solana and Ethereum are two very different products, two very
Hmm.
different tribes that have different things to offer. So it's almost like comparing apple to pears. I don't think it matters. Not, at least to me personally, I don't mind. Um, but I do think a lot of people are bashing Ethereum for underperforming in price actions,
Hmm.
etc. I think they overlook the fact that Ethereum is a bigger ship, a bigger empire. So and it's truly decentralized. Vitalik is more like an idol, symbolic
Yeah.
icon in this tribe, but he doesn't have all the power. Whereas
It's not top
um,
down. Yeah.
Solana
Yeah.
is more like top down, very well managed, centralized. I'll use the analogy Lloyd had again. I tweeted about it. He mentioned in our event that Solana is like Singapore, central government, very powerful, and they get
The
their
way.
orders done.
Yeah.
They get their way. Whereas Ethereum is more like United States. It's a big country. It's very powerful, but every state has their own agenda. Every person has their free will, so it's very hard to collectively do something as a country. Even with the
Right.
election today, you can see the country is divided, but for
Yeah.
good or for bad. I don't think I don't take sides, to be honest. I like both, but I do see Solana as more of a commercial product, whereas Ethereum more like tribal, more idealistic. Well, we work with EigenLayer on a daily basis. We're super tight with their team. We know their full team very well. They are very well respected, very research oriented, and some people say they're probably the only powerhouse for Ethereum this cycle.
Makes
I
sense.
think at least they're one of the key drivers for the building up the Ethereum ecosystem, and we're very bullish about EigenLayer.
All right, cool. AVS. I'm assuming most people know what AVS. Actually, do you want to do a quick intro about what AVS is, and then what's your favorite, and what are they doing?
Yeah, so I think if you ask different people, they'll have different views on ABS. It's like roll up. It's hard to explain.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
here's my version. I don't cannot say I'm absolutely right, but this is
Mm-hmm.
my perspective. So AVS stands for Actively Validation Service. What it does is it taps into the existing node operators and ETH assets staked within the Ethereum ecosystem, and it kind of borrows all these economic bonds and provide this as a service to new projects, new protocols. So any protocols that need consensus, any protocols that need node validation service can easily leverage EigenLayer AVS to run their node operators. So if you're an Oracle or a ZK coprocessor network, or even a layer one, you can consider to just use EigenLayer's AVS instead of setting up your own validator network from the ground up. For instance, if you look at ADO spent a lot of money on building up their node operator network. So is Solana. Some would accuse them of like kind of turning away the small guys because the cost to set up a node is very high. Whereas in Ethereum ecosystem, there's a common belief that it should be accessible to everyone. You should not prohibit the small guys to run nodes or operate nodes. So that's why with EigenLayer, a new project can easily just tap into the existing infra and tap into the billions of ETH already staked. So you don't have to kind of bootstrap or start from zero.
Understood. Okay. Before I ask what is your favorite AVS, and closer, not favorite, or what is closest to the launching time. Like I like to play with new stuff. My question is that, in my opinion, Restake is essentially using assets as collateral to earn more yield, being POS or whatever, something like that. Wouldn't BTC would be a better asset than ETH as a collateral for a long-term builder point of view?
Yeah, there are two parts of this question that I'll challenge. So the first part I'll challenge is whether EigenLayer is just a restaking DeFi play. I think it's a very smart move of them to come up with this DeFi angle. Because if you think about it, they're really just providing node validation service to new projects. So there's not necessarily restaking or other elements, but they came up with it as a bootstrapping strategy, and it clearly worked. So in my opinion, EigenLayer is not about getting risk-takers more yield, but it's a good strategy to get people involved and get attention. And also, I guess long-term wise, if you want to keep all these people in check and keep contributing, you want to offer them some rewards. So it's a smart way to get things started. Actually, I was drinking with Robert, the head of Eigen Foundation, last night, and he was telling me it came up by a few DeFi experts on the team in their early days. So it's not natural, but it's a great idea and a great strategy in my opinion. I can talk more about what EigenLayer can be used for if you're interested later. And then the second part I'll challenge, which is the Bitcoin part, is that shouldn't Bitcoin be a better asset to be restaked? So first of all, Babylon is solving for Bitcoin staking, not restaking, because staking doesn't exist for Bitcoin. So restaking is not exactly working for Bitcoin ecosystem. Secondly, I think the main problem is there's no opcat in Bitcoin design, so it's very difficult to build smart contract on Bitcoin. So in reality, most of the Bitcoin layer 2 or Bitcoin staking is mostly CD5 solutions. You basically park your Bitcoin assets at a custodian wallet like Cobalt Wallet, and then you have an API that crawl the data and claim that this is your TVL and this is your Bitcoin staking, which is not real. In Ethereum camp, we believe, okay, we're in the Ethereum camp now. I think it's not real staking or restaking. Of course, Babylon is proposing something more innovative.
Right.
They have this proof of stamp to make sure the Bitcoin are really staked in a proper way. But they're also still working on it. And then they'll launch their product maybe in a few months, but not like they're not entirely ready.
Got it. Got it.
Oh.
I wanted
Macro
to
doesn't like
interject
to
a
be
bit.
challenged.
Was that?
Just kidding.
I want to interject a bit and like trying to understand when you, and I think this is a question that a lot of our listeners would be very curious about, but because you work with a lot of other projects in the space,
Yeah.
particularly around restake rollups, what kind of rollup projects, i- is there any pattern to the kind of rollups that would want to use EigenLayer as a restaking infrastructure rather than building it from the ground up? I'm just curious if there is some sort of pattern in which, okay, rollups that are specifically trying to address XYZ problems are more likely to use restaking. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like any rollup should use AVS or should use restaking. Um, so first of all, most rollups today are centralized with single sequencer
Yeah.
with permissioned proof system. It's not. It's not. I don't know if you remember, there was a layer two that rugged. They kind of built their own chain and they just ran off with user deposits. It's actually
Wait,
possible.
which one was this again?
I
Or
forgot
are you not?
the name.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
something Degen or something. I think it's something to do with online betting or something. I forgot. It's not our
Oh, is it
client.
the ZKC? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
The
that
monkey
one.
thing. The monkey thing.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah. Okay.
So
Okay.
so they ran off, and it's actually an issue that people are not familiar with, because most people wouldn't look into how Blast was designed, how like different layer twos are designed, right? In the reality, when you look at the tech, you realize they're all centralized. There's a multi-sig wallet or a single wallet that controls the whole network, and if the operator decides to rug, then you cannot avoid it. So that's a major problem that people are overlooking or people are unaware of.
Right.
And what we're doing is that we'll decentralize the sequencer network and decentralize the validator network and allow the everyday user to be part of the node operation and allow users to stake their assets to safeguard all these rollups. So it's no longer centralized. And then the users can also share the revenues with the sequencers. If you realize most rollups are making money off the sequencer fees, which is the gas
Yeah.
fees. And if the users get to run the sequencer network, then they can have a share of that revenues. So we think it's a better solution. Whether you do it with restate rollup or you do it with base rollup or other solutions, you have to solve the problem. That's why Vitalik keeps saying rollups are still on training wheels. They're not ready.
Right.
They're not like 100% ready. They're not in their full form. They're just stage one, early stage. And when it comes to projects that decide uh, whether they want to, say, have a decentralized network, but run it on their own versus using EigenLayer system, I think it's quite natural that for smaller projects, you don't want to do everything yourself. It's costly. It's resource. It requires a lot of resource. So for smaller projects, it's natural that they just want to be part of the EigenLayer AVS system, so they don't have to worry about anything else. And for bigger projects, it becomes an interesting question whether you want to do it yourself, right? But when you think about it, there's so much waste of resources and energy spent in this industry to keep reinventing the wheels. Like
Yeah.
we have everything ready already, and then you want to build it from the ground up so you can charge more, or you can make your token price maybe higher. But you might also fail miserably because you might not have the security design of your system right, or you might not operate your private keys properly in Ronan's case. So yeah, I like the running guys, but it's a good example why you don't want to run your own network because you might not be an expert in it, especially for
Right. Right.
apples. They might be game operators, they might be NFT marketplace owners, they might not know anything about infra. So are they the right people to operate a network that have billions of dollars staked? Probably not. So there are a lot of
It's
arguments
a
I
good
can
point.
make for the using directly leveraging the AVS.
I want to add one more before I pass it on to you, Lambros. I've been hearing some arguments, and Dorothy, you can correct me if this is right or wrong, but I've been hearing some arguments that there are too many restake capital for AVSs right now. And a lot of AVS don't want that many restaked assets.
Hmm.
Some folks have even said like the reason that Symbiotic limits its TVL at 1 billion is because of the same thing, right? Because so I guess the question is mostly for if you're a builder trying to launch as an AVS or use some sort of like AVS technology, how should they think about too many restake capital, or is there sort of like a fine balance, or how should they be approaching this at
Yeah,
all? Yeah.
yeah. So I made this argument this January. Nobody
uh,
listened to me, and then when like
I
I
might be
think
stealing from you.
yeah, I came up with not I didn't came up yeah, it wasn't me who invented this idea, but I was like actively telling people it's not a good idea to front run and be overly bullish and create all these bubbles. I think Binance has a part of it. A lot of LRT projects were
Hmm.
kind of speculated because people felt that they're listed on Binance. So LRT is such a great category to like start looking at, and then all of a sudden they got too much TVL. It is a real problem, but for our partners, for our ABSs we built, we kind of have our own way to. It's kind of a hacking way to limit the TVL for our partners. Basically, you can limit the operators. By limiting the operators you whitelist, you already kind of set a upper bound for your TVL. So, for instance, a Dodo want 500 mil TVL for their chain, or Cyber doesn't want any cap. We can accommodate each partner's needs using this method. So it's not a problem for our clients or our partners, but it is definitely a big problem for the whole restaking category. People are just farm running too early, and I think for Babylon and Symbiote, now they have seen how it played out for EigenLayer. They have a better playbook. They can avoid all the mistakes. So I agree with you. It's a problem, but at least if you work with AltLayer, it's not a problem.
I mean, in my opinion, it's similar as what lending market is going to evolve. Like, you're going to have Aave, which takes every TVL and people just going to use it. You're going to have specialized lending pool, isolated lending pool by tiers,
Exactly.
P2P, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. This is going to be a rough one, by the way. So,
Oh, okay. Let me have some tea.
some people in my community mention that infra coins
Uh-huh.
are typically high valuations and lack utility to retail in general. How do you address this matter? Not personal, but overall infra project coins.
Yeah, I'll throw this question back to you. Can you name 5 coins that have real utility and also translate values back to its token price?
I 100% think there's none, to be very honest with you. But that's
Exactly.
why I don't buy them. I buy TIA when it's low float, and then as time goes by, I exit. And I think so in my point of view, right, I think most people want to gamble. They're just gambling how long that period of time before it goes down in terms of valuation. And you kind of figure something out to extend that period of time essentially before the dilutive value goes too high. Obviously, there has, like, Cosmo did a very good run for a year or something by doing ecosystem airdrop. And I think Tia tried to play with that playbook, but somehow projects didn't launch quick enough, and there weren't enough airdrops for them to support it. But I mean, this might be a question with no solution, to be very honest with you. And just want to hear your thoughts on it overall.
Yeah, so thank you for answering this tough question. I agree that most tokens, if you define most tokens as utility tokens, it's very hard to find a proper way to translate values back to the token price without violating security laws. Like in traditional stock market, you can do buybacks, you can do a lot of things, but they don't exist in crypto because our hands are bound. So
Yeah.
here is my unconventional view on this problem. I think in the future, crypto high value VC coins or infra coins will be traded in a very similar way to stocks, because in essence they're really stock like.
I
I
actually
don't think
100% agree with you on this. And I feel like DeFi coins is in that awkward position where it's big enough to be treated that way, but it's too small and weird enough that it cannot be accepted by real money. And this is like
yeah
a teenage grow pain.
Yeah,
yeah and
that's why the
I
uni fee
call
switch is never. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Dorothy.
yeah, I just want to call for regulators to actually start regulating utility tokens as security tokens, but in a more permissionless way, in a more open way, so we don't have to pay um, prohibitive fees and go through all those hurdles to actually get our coins listed.
Okay.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
go down like massive rabbit hole on this, but I just want to say real quick, I do agree with you, and it's a lot of, it's not even about paying massive fees. Like, I mean, like, again, like, we can go down like and extend this podcast for like another hour, but like, it's like you can't even register properly, or like
Yeah,
that's the main issue. But
Prospect
yeah.
registered.
Yeah.
That's the only coin I know of that's registered in Reg A. And they later changed their name to Stacks, and they took off by being a Bitcoin
Mm,
beta
mm,
coin
right.
rather than a security token. So
Nice. All right. I'm gonna chase you back to a few favorite AVSs that people should look at, and what do they do? Ideally, closer to launch time. I actually don't know which is going to be the first AVS that launched properly that I can start playing around and speculate on.
So here's the problem, right? There are 12 live ABSs on EigenLayer already. I don't know if people noticed them. Five of them are launched by us, uh, and they're all restate rollups. And we just announced our wizard, which is a one-click deployment platform to launch ABSs. So today you can go to our website and launch AVS in a few clicks. But of course, it's on testnet. If you want the real thing, you can contact us and we can help you test it up. So I think Wizard is a good way to showcase how AVSs can be used. Um, so I think,
Thank you. Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
mean,
to add that AVSs are not exactly consumer facing, so it's hard to play with AVSs that are live today. But you can play with Wizard to at least see how it is to set up your own AVS. And then I think the project to watch is AltLayer.
Awesome.
all right. That's why Dorothy is a good CMO, man. Like, she went from difficult questions to shilling her function, and then shilling her token. I was like, yo, that was like some S-class performance right there. But yeah, all right. I got one last question after this, but like, as a speculator, I often tell my communities that the flow is going to be EigenLayer. Somehow you can continue to stake it for operator tokens, AVS tokens, and you can speculate infra tokens somewhere in between. It can be stake, it can be stake to get allocation, whatever, some money flow things going on. Do you think operators and AVSs are likely to issue tokens? And if so, do you think market has an appetite for it at the moment? Personal view only.
So I think first of all, operators are not supposed to launch tokens. They are service providers and they shouldn't have speculative assets tied to their service.
Right.
However, I did invest in a project called NodeOps, which is trying to say, sorry, you're shaming me. You're shaming me. Now, I want to give you an exception case, an edge case where I do think it kind of makes sense to have a token is that they are kind of democratizing node operation to commoners. Like, I don't know if you have side token, you can stake your side nodes with node
Hmm.
ops and then you can earn yields, right? So they're simplifying it so everyone can become a node operator by being part of node ops. And then it kind of makes sense to tokenize their service and they're launching their own AVS. So that's an edge case for node operators. I don't think normal standard node operators like Figment or Coinbase should launch a token, and I don't think they have plans to do so either. And then the second part is whether AVSs should launch token. Of course, AVSs should launch token. If AVSs don't have token, who would reward all these stakers and node operators, right? So the theoretic flow is that EigenLayer lands all these economic bond provided by restakers and node operators to AVSs, and AVSs will repay all these people with their own token. I guess the real problem is how many AVSs would have enough market cap or enough value to actually pay sufficient amount of rewards back to all these stakeholders in the whole restaking ecosystem. I think that's a big problem we're facing today, where we see 12 live AVSs, but we don't know what the yields would exactly be. And also, does it take 100 AVSs or 1,000 AVSs to repay all the restakers, or would eventually all the restakers become too institutionalized because the yields are so low that only institutions would be interested, or just in some?
That's why you need these VCs to be closing their next fund, to supply the yield for like the AVSs.
I would like to encourage all founders that should get Dorothy on the cap table, because her shameless sideshow and shameless mentioning, casually smoothing her way in, that's the perfect value add, sir. Perfect value add. Okay, last question, Dorothy. What is the one thing that you think is needed to make it in crypto?
Okay, I'm not gonna say it's one thing. I think everyone would have their own way to make it in crypto. For instance, I'm not an expert trader. I've been in this industry for so long, and I made money mostly through investment, a little bit of trading, and then I decide maybe I should just focus on being a founder, right? So there's not a single way or path to success. It's more discovering your own talent and your passion, because I'm passionate about building projects. I'm passionate about changing people's life, even though it seems pretty hard with our current state in crypto. I don't think we can change people's daily life easily, but that's my passion. So I'm very happy to be a founder and contribute in my own way. But for some people, they might be just a natural trader like Lambro, right? So being a trader is probably the way to make it. And like you can even do something else, like work for a VC fund or work for an organization that you think has values in this industry. So I don't think there's one single way. But the one thing I do want to say is that if you're super lucky, if you're destined to be rich, you don't have to do anything. Money will find you. But if you're not super lucky like me, if you don't have a lot of fortune in your life that you can lean on, then keep learning is probably one way to get better.
That's awesome.
I'm a great believer of provide value, do good things, and good things will happen to you too. Anyways, thank you for your time today, Dorothy. It has been a pleasure to chat. There's a lot of topics that I think we need to re-invite you again for next month. But yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm a good guest, I guess.
It's going to be the first
Thank
recurring
you.
guest. Thanks.
Thank
Thanks,
you. Thank
Dorothy.
you.